What's up, guys? Welcome back to Modern Traders. I'm Ben. I'll be your host. And today we've got breaking news. The ARKX Space Innovation ETF is about to go live as early as the 29th. So today, just discuss some of the companies I feel are going to benefit the most from this. Now, the ARKX Space ETF, obviously space-related companies, are going to be included, but a lot of other supporting industries as well. This is the eighth ETF in the ARK lineup, and so one of the main clues we're going to use to decide what companies will be included are companies that are already being included in the other 7 ETFs, and just anything that's obviously space related and then supportive to the space industry. Based on existing ETF holdings, what they've been buying just recently, what seems obvious to be included. Today's video, we're just going to go over the ones that I think are the most likely candidates and why they benefit so much. Now, there's 4 categories of inclusion here: orbital aerospace, suborbital aerospace. The big one is the third one, which is going to make this very inclusionary ETF, enabling technologies, which is a blanket term. So is aerospace beneficiaries, another blanket term I think can include a lot of companies. But the first one, most obvious, Virgin Galactic. Since Virgin Galactic IPO'd through a reverse merger with a SPAC, they immediately ran up pretty quickly into the $30-$40 range, about a 300-400% rise, and then cooled off, traded pretty much sideways. A little bit of catalyst here and there, but then the ETF, ARK's ETF announcement, people assumed no brainer, space is going to be in there, so it ran up massively just on the rumor of being included before cooling off pretty much all of it by the time the correction happened. Then over the last couple months, you can see just the huge run up because of hype involved with the ARKX, and these are just ARKX potential, And we also have a catalyst coming up with Spaceship 3 being unveiled, and any catalyst for this company tends to send it spiking up green. The combination, if they are included in the ETF, as well as the release of the new spaceship, should see a pretty good rise on this one, even if the rest of the market's still a little flat. The next company that I think is shoe-in is Aerojet Rocketdyne, just a well-established rocket company. Holding some government contracts. They're going to be merging with Lockheed Martin pretty soon, and it's just one of the big boys that's got a reasonable price point. You can see it's had a pretty steady run up over the past few years. This is the 5-year chart here. Just steady growth. Dipped down after the pandemic, and then just rumors on ARK sent it right back up into the 50s and stayed flat in the 50s until just recently, giving us a better entry point. This one's almost as far as I'm concerned, this is pretty much guaranteed to be included with ARKX. A little bit more hype too would be created by the $5 dividend, which is ridiculous. That's about a 12% dividend that they paid out, which people are going to be interested in. People, this is going to definitely, that alone would cause people to take a second look here. That's just greed, just exponential greed right there. But like I said, this is pretty much a shoo-in, in my opinion, to be included. So definitely we're going to be keeping an eye on it. Another company, mostly SPACs from here, but Stable Road Acquisition Company merging with Momentous. Now, Momentous is calling themselves a last mile delivery in space. So Workhorse in space minus the USPS contract. Well, for now, one of these days they might have a USPS contract up there once we get to colonizing some moons and planets. But like I said, last mile delivery in space. They have a lot of services they provide, and it's going to be delivering payloads to the space station. Once we get to the moon, they'll be theoretically delivering to the moon, bringing passengers, bringing satellites. It's like it says, charter shuttle service. Just a whole suite of services involved with orbital and suborbital. Also, this one would fit into pretty much every category available. This would be orbital, suborbital. This would be orbital beneficiary. This would be supporting technology for sure. This is just like an all-encompassing company as far as the upcoming space industry is concerned. and I just can't see how it would possibly be excluded from the Ark X ETF. The just see some of the products they have here. Just the I mean, everything here is still speculative, obviously, but definitely presents a good front here. And you can see that it stayed at the $10 SPAC range until the Ark ETF was announced, at what point it ran up about 300%, or about a 100%, before cooling off with the correction. And even at $14, pretty far out of safety SPAC range, but I really can't see this being anything but profitable, especially with any kind of announcement of inclusion. Gillette Satellite Networks. This is a more well-established satellite-involved company, delivering space payloads. And you can see it was around the $6 range for a long time. The Ark inclusion, or well, the rumor and possibility of Ark inclusion sent this one up solid 300%, and it's been cooling off since peaking, but an announcement of actually inclusion should send us right back up. And you can see right here, another one of the keywords in the hype factor right now, 5G. So combine space industry, combine Ark involvement and 5G networking, and you got a recipe for a quick run-up and excitement hype, especially if the market recovers and starts going back toward all-time highs. Now we have another SPAC company, Vector Acquisition Corp. Now, this is one of my favorites. They're merging with Rocket Lab, which has been touted as the tradable SpaceX. You can see here they ran down a little bit on the last trading day, and they're not far out of that safety SPAC range. But Rocket Lab is established rocket company, making a cheaper and cheaper product that can be launched off. They're launching satellites into space already. You can see here 104 have been launched. They have two main rockets that they're super proud of, and they even, like, the most recent March 23rd, so just a few days ago, was the most recent launch. And you don't hear a lot about them in the news, which in my opinion is a good thing, because in the rocket industry, I feel like you mostly just hear about rockets to blow up. So no news is good news here. And then, like I said, Rocket Lab, as since it's being touted as the alternative to SpaceX, and SpaceX isn't listed, just that comparison alone would be enough to send this up in exaggerated hype cycles. But between comparison to SpaceX and then potential inclusion in this Ark X ETF, which I think another one that's pretty much guaranteed to be included, there's just hype potential here is just unlimited. You can see here there's their Electron rocket that they're very proud of. And yeah, I think this one, I mean, obviously just keep an eye on it, but I see big things in the future for here. And Jaws Spitfire Acquisition Corp. Shout out to team member Nim from the Discord server for bringing this one to my attention. I was not even aware of it, but you can see here it's trading at 1050, which is nice and firmly in the safety SPAC range. They had that $10 bottom, so you're pretty much guaranteed. They're merging with Velo 3D, which I think might be pronounced Velocity, like velocity, I don't know. But 3D printing in general, Ark's obviously excited about. They're already buying this company, and it's 3D printing is going to be very important to the space industry in general. Another one that's in the 3D printing sphere is the Nano Dimension, which has just been on a massive run up from 50 cents last year, all the way up to about $16, which is just 30x, right? So 30x already cooled off about 50% to $8. If you want more depth information on this, we did a review video on Nano Dimension in the video list. And last one I wanted to talk about is Maxar. This is another one that's an all-encompassing space, orbital, suborbital, delivering payloads, delivering satellites. More than 60 years of mission success you see there. And this one actually has, satellites and spacecraft systems, robotics, innovative payloads, and they are working with the government. So they do have the all-important government contracts. Global high-speed internet, providing real-time. They're involved in robotics, advanced, reliable, affordable spacecraft for a broad range of civil, defense, and intelligence missions. Now, those are three keywords that you love to see investing in a company, because they just mean money. And if being involved in all those areas aren't enough, they're also involved in robotics, which is another fledgling industry. And then you can see here, just for the past few years, just been on a nice, steady growth run up. Weren't even brought down that low by the pandemic correction. You can see they've peaked at highs of almost $60, and since then have cooled back down into the 30s. And like I said, this is one that I feel is another one, in my opinion, that's pretty much guaranteed to be included in the ETF. So that should send it right back up to the 50s and 60s. And this is another one. You see several here that have run up 50, 100%, and cooled all the way back down. So they're primed to make the same run up again. And one of the group members, as a matter of fact, was asking me yesterday if I really thought some of these companies could run up 100% just based on inclusion in the Ark X ETF. And like I tell him, I'll tell you the same thing I told him. If you go back and look, and you can see with several of these companies, a lot of them ran up more than 100% based on rumors and the possibility of being included in the Ark X ETF. So if they can run up 100% on possibly being included, I expect that they could definitely run up 100% on actually being included. And now, as you see here, this is the March 29th is the earliest date they can be launching the ETF. So that doesn't mean it's going to happen on the 29th. It means it can happen on the 29th. So just don't get too excited and jump in too early. Before I go, just want to invite everyone over to the Discord server. We've got a great group of guys, conversation about the market going pretty much all times. Keep resources posted, news, catalysts, upcoming FDA approvals, ARK's trades are on there. We've got a team of guys doing call-outs on a daily basis with a very good success rate. And we do believe in giving back to our members. So we will be doing monthly contests, prizes, giveaways, for both the free and premium members. We're doing, we have a lot of benefits. We have free trials going on. So, come check us out. Free to try, free to join. If you don't like the premium, you don't have to do it. Anyway, so next time, I'm Ben. This is Modern Traders. Thanks for stopping by.